Welcome to The Pestle, reviewing and breaking down movies to look for insights into the movie-making process.
It's okay.
Hosted by subscriptions. Movies, music, software. Why own anything when you can rent it forever? Now, let's dim the lights and start the show.
Welcome, everybody, to The Pestle. Today's show is brought to you by Sick Puppy, Letter to My Father by Aggie Wiggs. The Pulitzer Prize-winning memoir that will leave you breathless. Pick it up at your local book place, Aggie Wiggs' Sick Puppy. Welcome, everyone, to The Pestle. I am Wes.
And I am Todd.
And we're filmmakers. We make things, and we like to review things and see where the overlap is on what we can learn and what we are seeing when we watch these things. And I don't know. There's a lot of things that are strange that we notice. With that clever segue, what are we covering today, man?
Oh, your brilliance never ceases to amaze. Today we are covering the Stranger Things finale. So if you haven't seen the episode, please pause this and go watch it, because we're going to spoil the whole thing, all 5 seasons, I guess. It's streaming on Netflix now, so there's your warning.
We'll look at a pretty good dive into some of the story and writing. We'll talk about finales in general, I guess, and obviously as it applies to Stranger Things. And we'll talk about other story and writing elements such as plot armor, traditional 5-act structure for TV, dramatic moments, and other such stuff and things and stuff.
And a quick synopsis of the episode, I guess, or show in general. As Vecna prepares to destroy the world as we know it, the party must put everything on the line to defeat him once and for all. It's written and directed by the Duffer Brothers, cinematography by Heymann, featuring Millie Bobby Brown as 11, Finn Wolfhard as Max, Caleb McLaughlin as Lucas, Gaten, Matarazzo as Dustin, Noah Schnapp as Will, Sadie Sink as Max, Nell Fisher as Holly, Natalia, Dyer as Nancy, Charlie Heaton as Jonathan Byers, Joe Keery as Steve Harrington, Maya Hawke as Robin, Brett Gelman as Murray, David Harbour as Hopper, Winona Ryder as Joyce, Byers, Jamie Campbell Bauer as Vecna/Henry.
Well done, soccer style kicker, graduated from Collier High.
One hell of a model American.
Dude, well done, man.
Thank you.
Holy crap, no soundbite today. I didn't think there would be one online, so I didn't even honestly look. But here we are, season 5, after not quite a decade, but certainly upwards of a decade later. Season 1 to season 5. How did this leave you, man? Did the show live up to your season 1 expectations overall? And then just, I don't know, in and of itself, good way to send off the gang, or what? How'd you feel, man?
I felt mixed. I felt like there were moments where I was super emotional and loved it. I mean, the end was great to me. It left it open whether 11 was alive or not. It was kind of almost like not to the caliber, but like a Nolan ending where you could walk away depending on if you're in a positive mood thinking that she's alive, or in a negative mood thinking, no, there's no way that happened. And I think that that's important, right? For the people who might be heartbroken, right? And it's interesting too. It's like, could that happen? Yeah. I mean, in this world, maybe it could. I love that they finish in the place they start, playing D&D in the basement. And I love how Mike has a story for everybody, like a future story for everybody. And that was the best part of the entire thing for me.
Yeah.
And it was just so beautiful how Max was like pissed at the end, like, come on, that's trite. Like, why, and he's like, no, well, actually, and then he gives everybody their own version of it. And I think that was really beautifully written and well executed, in that moment. And then them putting the books on the shelf, it's kind of like, us saying, they were saying goodbye to the show and to everything, and we were saying goodbye to them and watching them from the bookshelf do that. I thought it was really glorious and beautiful. And then Holly comes down with her friends, sits down at the table. I was like,
Yeah.
I had my moments emotionally during that. As somebody who's passed the torch in certain things, and like it is just a beautiful moment. That being said, I do want to say that like it was, I saw a video which described the overall feeling of the ending very well. And in this video, you've got a guy he's got ice and he's shaving it, he's breaking it, he's cutting it, and then he's putting it in a cup. And then, like almost like it's like gourmet, right? But it all turns into water, right? It's not like any better because of the way he's cutting it up. It's just all water. And that's how I felt about the entire season, to be honest. I mean, after the first 4 episodes, and I know we're only talking about the ending, I talked to you and I was like, what did you think? And we were both like, the exposition is brutal. So to me, too many people, too many angles of the story, not like the ending was, yeah, that was great that what's her name? Joyce, I guess. Yeah. Joyce gets to cut Vecna's head off, I guess, because she gets to do something because Vecna has destroyed her family in a lot of ways. But one, that took way too long. I mean, she hacked for like a straight minute.
There was a dozen. I think I counted 12 strikes on his head.
Yeah, which probably in reality would take that long. It's not
That's
like,
true.
I'm sure it's probably not easy to cut somebody's head off with an axe.
But
at the same time,
she's
it's
hitting
like,
him in the chest and like the rock.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But it was not fulfilling. The whole ending wasn't fulfilling. There were too many angles and stuff of the story that were added. Way too many people. You're fighting the government at the same time as you're fighting Vecna, which waters down Vecna for me, because then the government is the real bad guy, because the only reason why she dies is because of the government, not because of Vecna. Because the government wants her, so she dies. Like, the government was the real bad guy. So why are they kind of like this offshoot kind of, like, they're not the focus of the show, even though they are a focus, and that waters down everything else. I think, yeah. So that's what I'll say. Too many people, too many storylines, harder to follow. And then last thing I'll say is Eleven's friend. What was her name?
Oh,
I forget
crap.
her name.
Yeah, I didn't write it.
Yeah, I hate her. I mean, as an actress, she's great.
She's great.
Like,
yeah.
her character is terrible. I hated her in the episode that I saw her in, that she was in, and I hated her in this whole season. Like, it's just, I don't care if she was the one who saved 11 at the end. I don't care. She was annoying, and Simon hated her too, my son. We're just like, golly, I hope that she messes up and Hopper kills her. Anyway, yeah, so that's what I'll say. It was I watched the entire 2 hours for the last 15 minutes.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I feel like I probably hated her less than you, but that's only because I've generally hated everyone by the end of this thing. Like,
okay, yeah.
Everyone was just super annoying. And that really comes down to writing, because it's not like, I don't know if everyone on here is a good actor. There's, some of the kids are sketchy, but I'm also not harsh on kids in general. Like, there's leeway you grant for a child actor, right? Like, once you cross the threshold into adulthood, whatever, 18, then it's like, okay, you get judged like every other adult now. But yeah, I don't know, man. It really just though came down to the writing, because there's so many talented kids on the show, and obviously the adults are, mostly really good. Even some of the adults that I'm like, this character's so bad. Like, I think the guy Murray, Brett Gelman, is phenomenal. What a great actor, because he is breathing so much life into such trash writing. Like, they just use him as this cartoon, and I am so impressed with that guy and his ability to make it into a believable character. Like, they created this whole Shaggy Scooby-Doo kind of ephemera on screen, and he really made you think this is a person. Like, I'm hats off to you, Mr. Gelman. But that's, by and large, a lot of these characters are just treated with so much contempt that I'm just so confused at how this could possibly be the same team that wrote the first season wrote the next 4. Like, it's so mind-boggling to me that could possibly be the case. Like, and whenever I prepped to watch this last season, I went back and rewatched season 1. I skipped season 2 and 3, and I was like, I remember season 4 being really good. And it's on revisit. It's not that great. It's just better than seasons 2 and 3. But that bar is just so, I mean, it's buried. So it's not exactly hard to like get over that. And that's very much what I'd been thinking, what you said about there's too many characters. You're so stretched thin. And it felt like they switched genres almost completely because the first season was a horror show. And there's adventure to it for sure, but it was horror adventure. And this felt like it switched into like adventure comedy with horror trappings, but never really committing to horror again, which I would be okay with if they did really well on the adventure or the comedy. But they just never do. The comedy is just corny jokes based on like this elementary sarcasm. And it's, like the Derek, I forget his little nickname, but the little kid yelling like, suck my fat one, and giving the finger is their version of comedy. Like, that's weak. It's so stupid and lame. And I hate Dustin and I forget what you call the little suit, the whatever sniper outfit.
The ghillie suit.
Yeah, the ghillie suit. Thank you. Like, that's corny. Like, there's so much that just bothers me about the last 4 seasons. And yet, like, I completely agree. You got to the end of this episode and I was like, man, that's a good send-off. Like, I really enjoyed them back at the table and Max buying in and kind of becoming a nerd herself. And the moments that Mike gives us in his storytelling. And I think the wrong version of that ending would be to actually show us those things. Like, this is what happens. Here's them 15 years later, 20 years, or present day. Like, here's them present day. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of other shows and movies kind of make that mistake of, we're going to show them now. And that would have just been wrong. Instead, they let us imagine that this is a story, while also kind of implying that this is how things turn out, but leaving a lot of room for us. But that's how they should have ended it. And yet we got another like 40 minutes of other filler send-off stuff. And like, that I think is just the wrong way to do it. And it kind of made me think about the way that traditional TV was written, right, around commercial breaks. But it kind of neatly fit into the 5-act structure. Like, okay, we're going to do a nice setup at the beginning, and then leave you with these cliffhangers. And so there was always, when you're watching TV, a sense of propulsion, because they had to find a way to get you to sit through the commercial and come back, right? And so you're built in with this need to bring the audience back every 8 to 12 minutes. Like, okay, yeah, we're building to something, and now you got to find out what it is after this commercial break. And then you come back and like, oh, here's where they left you. And because of premium TV, like, we are now officially post golden age of TV, because it's so lazy. Like, this is really inefficient writing. The move away from these like time slots has really created projects that are undisciplined in their runtimes, with no concern to hitting these structural beats. Instead, it's just, oh, we'll give you more because we can give you more. People want more, therefore we'll give you more. More. And it just, you get sloppy and lazy, and you couldn't, walk a 30-minute mile if anyone paid you to. And it's just, it leads to this kind of writing, because if they had really built this to like a 60-minute finale and said, okay, we got 60 minutes to tell this final story, what do we do? Well, we get that nice, 10-15-minute send-off, the denouement. But then you also have these beats that really pull you in and push you forward and leave you breathless, and still give you some of these really nice moments. There were so many, God, I don't know. I have a whole list of bad dramatic moments that I'll come back to. But that was kind of my feeling sitting through this finale, is like, one, it's bloated, and it's just going to, in attempting to give people everything they want and more, they actually make people worse off, which is maybe the log line of streaming services writ large. Like, we're trying to give everyone more and we're leaving you worse off for it. But that was how I felt. I was like, man, this is just a lazy send-off. They did something in 2 seasons that they could have done in a 90-minute movie, and probably better. And I also was not wiser for the experience. Like, I don't understand why we needed these 12 kids, or at least if they really explained it, I completely forgot the relevance. By the time we hit the final moment, I didn't understand the rock thing that Henry, like, I think the whole rock mind flare thing was supposed to be this note about how the mind flare is entering Henry through this bullet wound, and and we're getting this stranger, this rando in the cave who's giving us this warning, like, it's gonna consume everything. And I think it's supposed to be like this idea that Henry is a product of abuse, right? We saw his childhood in season 4 with his dad, I think, being a bit of a wad, if I remember that correctly, which I may not. But this idea that he's a product of abuse who saw the world as evil and needing destruction. And maybe this is Stranger Things, broadly speaking, is a story of the innocence of childhood and how we respond to our traumas. It's all lost in the muck and mire, though, because that's so inefficiently told and communicated and lost through these bloated monologues. He says, as he monologues, about the mind flare or the villain, like, just going on and on. Like, I don't know, man. I couldn't remember why Henry was the way he was, or what it had to do with the mind flare, or even what the mind flare's whole thing was. I thought we killed that guy off, and yet here he is again for the umpteenth time. This show just loves to pretend to kill people and then bring them back, which makes me lose trust in them as storytellers, these faux master storytellers, which I both liked and laughed at the idea of them inserting Mike as themselves, right? That was the whole idea. Max is saying this meta commentary about how the Duffers are master storytellers, and giving we're giving them side eye, like, that's how you're going to leave us, you master storytellers? And they're like, okay, I'll give you this. And so that was this whole meta conversation around the show itself, talking to the fans, which I both appreciated and was frustrated because of everything else I'm saying. But yeah, do you feel me right now? Like, the show poorly communicating what it's really about, while also losing me in the thread of their villains and resurrections.
Totally. 100%. Do you remember season 1 where the mind flare was the scariest freaking thing?
The Demogorgon was
the Demogorgon. I'm sorry.
Yes, yeah.
The Demogorgon was like the scariest thing ever. I mean, you're totally right that it was horror, and everyone was, you were thinking, how could you ever beat this thing? Right. And then we find out, Elle has powers and all that stuff. And it just felt like it felt like how a lot of monster movies get it wrong by showing the monster too much. I was not afraid of Vecna. No, when I was afraid of Vecna was when he was breaking people in half. What was the season? Was that 4? Was that season 4?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, not letting my kids watch it. That's how good it was. It was so good. I was like, Simon, you are not allowed to watch this. This is brutal. And yes, you saw him, but you saw him in a context of demoralizing people. You know what I mean? Just like crushing people, literally. And that the ending of that was great. I mean, Max is in a coma. You know, it was great. And in this one, I'm seeing him way too clearly. Like everything is like overly lit and clear and easy to see, and just like trying to bring everyone, like you said earlier, trying to bring everyone along with them means that you're losing the people who like us, who are looking for these, these feelings. I want to feel Vecna. I don't need to see him all that much. I need to feel him. And I think season 4 does a really good job of that. And in this case, I see the detail of him way too much. I'm not afraid of him, even though I know he's powerful and strong. Also, Simon and I, my son and I were talking like, what do you think is going to happen at the end? And he said he thought that 11 was going to die. And I said, I think Will's going to die. I think that would be much more emotional, because Will now we find has all these powers and he can like tap into Vecna and the hive mind. And you're thinking, I mean, the expectation would be that 11 would die because she's the one who's the most powerful. So she should be the one to sacrifice herself because she's the most powerful. But the reason she dies is, like I said earlier, is because of the freaking government. What a waste. What a waste of a beautiful person and story and love between her and Mike and power because of this, the military. And that doesn't say anything to me. It also doesn't say, oh, the military is the bad guy in reality, right? I didn't buy that either. It would have been it would have been a lot stronger if, Mike, who has just found his powers, has found a way to sacrifice himself to save everyone. So I thought that, but that didn't happen. But yeah, I 100% agree with you on all of that.
And they get to the end and she sacrifices herself or whatever. And then we've been set up for this big showdown with the military, and then they just go away literally immediately.
They literally just go away.
Like, what?
What?
Okay. We've been building up Linda Hamilton as this ultimate badass, the next biggest one after Papa, which is.
And what about Will? Will has powers now that they know about. They don't care about that.
I think the argument is Will was getting his powers from Vecna, not apart from Vecna, and therefore. But they don't know that. They
don't know that. If I'm the military, I'm doing experiments on you, Will. Here we go.
Welcome to the winner circle. Here we go.
Yeah.
But okay, I'll run through a few things that'll surface certainly some other conversations. One is the idea of plot armor. This is just the basic idea that characters are never in danger because we're following them and they're important to the story. Therefore, we, the audience, as a storyteller, you're making it seem like they're in danger, but we, the audience, know they're really going to be okay. Right? James Bond is going to be okay. Indiana Jones is going to be okay. Because they're competent is what you want the audience to believe. It's not because the story is named Indiana Jones and 007. That's plot armors. They're going to survive because they're the named character here. We're following them. Elle is going to be okay because she's Elle. Mike is going to be okay because we've been following him since the first scene, etc. Plot armor dictates to the audience, these characters are impenetrable. None of these, there's a billion bullets being fired in their direction, but they will never get hit because they're too important to the story. Got it. That bugs me so much because, to your point, the whole time, the last 4 seasons, I've been thinking, when are we going to kill off some more people? Like we killed off Barb in season 1, and that really pushed forward the story for Nancy. Like that really changed the whole trajectory of her life. Not just her character on the show, but her whole life changed because of one person dying. That's the kind of impact you want for drama on screen, as for not just someone to die, but for it to have a meaningful impact. And I kept waiting for, look, if I'm writing the show or being a story advisor, I'm killing off so many people that you never feel safe anymore. Like
100%.
Minimal.
Instead of collecting them, they just kept collecting them.
Collecting everyone. And I'm at least killing off 2 of the Byers. Like, I'm probably going to kill off Joyce is going to die, in the 3rd or 4th season. I'm probably killing off Jonathan. And then we'll really get to see Will go from this weak character to the strong character.
Great call.
I'm probably killing off 1 or 2 at least, again, of the Wheelers. Like, either the mom's going to die and then the dad finally has to step up and be like an actual parent instead of this absentee POS dad, or I'm killing off the dad and now the mom has to step up and be strong in a way that she's never had to before, which is a whole other element that really doesn't get explored enough, in my opinion, because she gets challenged off screen by her daughter, Nancy. In the first season, we're watching Nancy and Jonathan target practice, and she's making this comment about my mom married. And I thought she mentions that there's an age gap between her dad and her mom. Like, because the reason that, if that's the case, it bothers me that we're in the school and Max makes this comment like the Byer parents are over in this room making out or doing stuff or something. Like, but the whole idea was the mom was reliant on the dad for her life, and she doesn't do anything other than be a stay-at-home mom, which Nancy doesn't admire or respect. Therefore, to me, you're setting up a whole storyline for the mom to go through to figure out her way of either, one, being okay, being a stay-at-home mom and showing Nancy why this is a good thing and why you might be missing out on a really nice piece of life, or the mom realizing that's not the life that she wants, and therefore killing off the dad gives her an opportunity to demonstrate how capable she is to her daughter. Like, there's all kinds of missed opportunity just based off a setup in the first season, and there you get to have this whole other line of drama. And so I'm either killing off one of those parents, and then I'm either killing off Nancy or I'm killing off Holly. I've been waiting since the first season for Holly to get looped in as a character, and so you get to have a really nice opportunity for some more drama and trauma for the family to realize the stakes are real here, and then by killing off Nancy, or I think Mike is untouchable. I don't think you ever actually can kill Mike in this show, but I think you can give him an opportunity to realize something about himself and about life through one of his sisters going. And that's why I think it might be better to kill off the dad, because then you're just killing off all the women and his family.
Yeah.
That's problematic too. But I don't think you want to create a universe where everyone is untouchable. And there's so many people that they could kill here. You could eventually kill off Steve or Jonathan, and etc. Like, there's so many opportunities, and now you just created this fun family where no one ever gets actually hurt. Instead, you introduce people that you can then kill off immediately, because anyone who sticks around, who makes it through the end of a season, here for good. Like, you're part of the family. Kill off Robin, or I think you kill off Steve. I think that would be a really meaningful death. Because if you have this guy who really has a nice arc in the first season, and then in the 4th season, he gets killed off, man, that hurts. and now we really have to figure out who's safe and who isn't, etc. And even in this 5th season, or this last episode, like, there's still so much plot armor. You have Hopper. This one bothers me. Hopper was easy bait to kill off. Like, you got to kill that guy off. Several times he has too much opportunity to die. And at the last episode, you have Hopper who kills 5 military guys in a row, right? Shotguns all these guys to death. And then he gets knocked out instead of killed. Like, this military guy there's a big difference between cops and military guys, as we've been hearing play out, in this past year of chaos, which is military guys are trained to kill. That's what they do. That's their role in our, society, is to go into combat and kill people. Cops are there to subdue them. And so watching Hopper as a cop kill a bunch of guys, military guys, and then a military guy turn around and take them hostage, like, nah, I don't buy that at all. That's plot armor in the worst way. And then you have Steve falling off the tower, who gets caught dramatically by Jonathan. I don't know, that sucked because they stopped the planet from crashing without any cost. Yet again, it's a dramatic moment. It was a nice moment, but there's just no cost ever in this show for success. And Elle gets shot in the tank, and I was like, oh snap, that was all in Hopper's mind. Once again, no actual cost. It's just faking. It's all these faux.
And the worst part of that, can I add to that? Just
Please.
The worst part of that is that it got me. I was like, oh my God, finally something's going to cost something. And I reacted with words, and I said, oh my God, he shot her. I said it out loud. And my son said, no, he didn't. He knew.
Wow.
So he's being trained. Well, what I'm saying is bad, because he's being trained to know she's not going to die. Like, he knows about plot armor. He can feel the plot armor without knowing what it is, I guess is what I'm saying, because it's just so rampant everywhere.
Yeah.
To me, I was looking for a reason to not have it. I was like, yeah, okay, I don't want her to die, but yes, he did that. He said he was going to kill her friend if she messed up or she did anything wrong, and yet he kills her on accident. Holy cow. Now we've got a show. No, is in his stupid mind. Are you kidding me?
Again. Freaking. Yeah. So let's go through some of this, some of these other faux dramatic moments, because I think this is worth pointing out and learning from. So, okay, there's this stopwatch moment where Dustin's like, hey, we really need to stop this thing. And he's like, how long? Maybe 30 seconds. And then Hopper breaks out a stopwatch. And it's
that we've never seen before, that he just happens to have.
Like, they've been planning for this moment where he's going to be able to perfectly guess the exact amount of time. And it's just this fake sense of dramatic precision. And this show is full of this. Now look, faux dramatic moments are not generally a bad thing. I'm not saying never have a dramatic moment that doesn't actually pay off the way we expect it to. Not what I'm saying at all. That's not inherently a bad thing. Creating tension and putting the audience off balance is good. And that is why we watch TV and go to movies. But in a horror, you probably don't want to reduce the amount of meaningless threats, or you don't want to keep doing this where you're reducing a threat into meaningless payoffs, right? Where there's no payoff or no price to the threat or to the victory. We stop, just like you pointed out with Simon, we stop buying into the danger, which is bad in any genre, but really, really bad in horror, where we expect people to die and for there to be a cost. And the show just keeps raising these stakes and then hand waving them away. And therefore, it becomes boring in the worst way. It makes us not take the show seriously, and the show just continually makes you it uses humor as this way to stave off payoffs. Like if we can make you laugh or have a sense of relief through a dramatic cue, visual cue, and music cue, then you'll forgive us because you're having a good time. That's their whole approach to this show after the first season. If we can just make it so that you're having a good time, we don't actually have to honor anything we're writing at all. And that is mind-bogglingly frustrating. Like, it just feels so cheap. Speaking of cheap, Will, in this final sequence with the Mind Flayer and Henry, Will stays behind. He's the first one because he suddenly realizes Vecna's still alive, and he's feeling his presence, and he stays behind to try and stop Henry while the others run ahead to take down the Mind Flayer, right? And it's classic in the sense of they're planting a seed of salvation early so that we forget it. And so that he can dramatically rescue the gang at their lowest point, right? Where we're like, oh, what are they going to do? And here comes this thing you forgot about. But here it just feels really cheap and unearned because I'm waiting for this guy to show up to the fight when he was the first one into the fight. Like, he was the first one to be able to get to Henry, and yet he's just sitting around waiting until there's a dramatic pause. It's really unearned. And then, oh my gosh, there's this moment that I really hated. Elle forces this military guy to shoot himself in the head, which was brutal. Like, listen, whatever you want to say about Elle's like ability to kill humans, I think I've always been okay with that because that was what the military was training her to do. And so I've never had a problem with her, like, killing people off, specifically those people, right? The military people. That's always been okay with me. Here, it felt a little too much flourish. Like, they're trying to give a dramatic flourish to end that sequence and to give you a sense of finality for the military's role in the Upside Down. And I think it's the right idea, but it feels like a head fake. Instead of a meaningful kill, it feels like you're getting your character to do something gross and off character. That felt really wrong to me. I don't know if maybe that's just me, but
no, it's not. It felt wrong to me too. In fact, I was sitting there and I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was waiting to hear a gunshot and then to cut back to him, and he's still standing there. It was just like shot in the air or something, and then she maybe crushes the gun, or I don't know. Like, I don't know how you get out of that, but like, not that way. Like, that felt wrong to me too.
It felt like she was torturing people instead of like achieving a goal. And that's not, it just seems like the Duffers didn't understand the characters they created, which is really strange. Like, I said all the nice things I can say during our episode when we covered the first two seasons. So if you want to hear all those nice, beautiful things I have to say, go revisit that episode. Because that first season really was a masterclass in pacing and structure. Like, I'm still so impressed with their ability to create so many setups and payoffs in a way that just built on each other. Like, that's a really brilliant first season. And to reiterate, it just feels like they didn't understand the show that they created and how it worked. So there's something else going on there. I don't know what it is. I wasn't in those rooms, and so I don't want to overly speculate about that. But what is clear is that they really don't understand the storytelling mechanisms that they were operating with in that first season. So I'm wondering if maybe there's a writing partner that we don't know about and that was operating in that first season or something. I don't know. But yeah, that if you watch the last 4 seasons, watch that first season and see how meaningful everything is. Even the humor, it's always very specific, pointed humor that comes out of situations and at times manipulations, right? One of the funniest moments is whenever Dustin calls the science teacher, and the science teacher's on a date. He's watching, I don't know, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes or something. And the phone rings and he's like, Dustin, what are you doing? Sir, you told me, right, to not close a curiosity door. Why are you keeping this curiosity door closed for me? And it's really funny, but it's pointed in the story. It's a manipulation. It's a tactic. And so we're laughing, but it's not because Dustin is winking at the audience to try to get us to laugh. It's because we understand he's using this as a tactic to get something that he wants. There's a goal inserted here. And this, every season after that is full of winking at the audience, is embellishment for the sake of laughs and gags. And it's because they're doing jazz hands. It's because they don't have a way to actually set up and pay off any of the story that they're taking us along with. Instead, again, they're trying to get us to have a good time and get us to forget about all the story elements that they're setting up and bringing us along for. And so, yeah, I think if there's anything to learn from this, it's a lot of like what not to do's. Like, here's how you don't set up a villain that doesn't have a logical payoff. Because in season 4, Vecna, we're told, Vecna is the way he is because of 11. Because 11 betrayed him, and because all these other people betrayed him, and that no one was really there for him. And then we find out it's actually because the mind flayer got into him through a rock or something. And it's like, okay, there's so many good ideas here, and yet they didn't really explore any of them. Like the upside down being this wormhole was like, that's a really cool idea. I'm game. Where else can we go with this? And it's just like, no, instead we're going to give you more Demogorgons and timid dogs, which was really annoying. Yeah, I don't know. I'm ranting here a little bit, but
and can I also say, just add to that like the Upside Down in all the other seasons felt like a dangerous place, and now it's just a freaking place where people hang out. And it's just like, oh, we're just going to the Upside Down. You're never worried about a Demogorgon or a Demidog like sneaking up on you. And when you saw the trailer for the new season, where you see Will, which looked nothing like Will, by the way, and I said to Simon, I was like, "That's not Will. Is that Will?" He's like, "Yeah, it's supposed to be Will because of the jacket he's wearing. Like, you know, it's like kind of iconic. Like, just recognize it. Yeah, it's supposed to be Will, but it's not." It's like obviously looks nothing like him, but he's running from a Demogorgon, right? And so I'm thinking, okay, this place is dangerous. It never felt dangerous the entire season. And you know, like they were just hanging out. And and when at the end of the second to last episode, the beginning of this last episode, they're driving in a truck, and they just drive through this. Okay. Area 51, if you're within 10 miles of it, you get arrested, right? And yet this link to this other world, which is in a hangar, by the way, is there's just this one little gate, right? With one guard, and they just drive through it with the guard like looking like, is that a truck? Oh my, it is a truck. What do I do? Oh, I'm going to shoot and then jump out of the way. Like the timing is a mess. And then they drive in, and then they pause. They stop the truck so that Hopper can get in. And while they're stopped, Nancy pops out of the top and just starts wasting people. She's like murdering people as the truck is stopped in probably the most protected, what should be the most protected spot on the planet. Right? And nobody gets hit. Everybody makes it in, and they celebrate. Like, yay. Ridiculous. Absolutely stupid. There's a better, more creative way to get them in there that has a lot more drama. I honestly think that TV shows nowadays are like musicals. They take way too fucking long to tell me something that they could tell me in 2 minutes. They take an hour and a half. Like, no, like just stop doing that. Like, I know you need to make this 8 episodes. I get it, but it needs to be packed with stuff. Don't make something take an entire hour episode when it could take 15 minutes. Like, there's no reason to do that. But, and then give me all these moments that like are just completely unbelievable. I understand that the Upside Down is unbelievable and that a stable wormhole is unbelievable.
But in season 1, you had to wear a hazmat suit or risk some kind of contamination or poisoning.
Remember how episode 1 opens? It's terrifying. It's terrifying, right? And then you see this stuff like floating and you're just like, oh my God. And then, there's this one throwaway line in the last episode where I think it was the last episode, one of the last episodes, where they talk about, is this stuff okay to breathe? Like, there's like a line. Do you remember that? There's like a line that somebody says, is this stuff okay to breathe? And somebody says like just kind of throws it away. But you're right. Like, at the beginning, you had to like wear these suits because it was so dangerous. And at the end, it's just, no, it's really not.
They're hanging out for what seems like weeks on end. I don't know how long they're actually in there, but it felt extensive. Where in the first season, Nancy and Jonathan get sucked in for like a minute and they're out. And so it's like, okay, they're fine. But Will obviously paid a heavy price even before they found him. Like, and he got caught by the Demogorgon and hooked up. He was still sick and it looked like he was being poisoned slowly as he was waiting for someone to come help him. If not just starving and withered from lack of, water. But it felt like it was really about him slowly dying from the Upside Down itself, is the implication in the first season. And everyone else who goes in, who knows what they're doing, fully suited, oxygen tanks, tethered, like in a million ways, they're like, this is not a safe place to be. And by the end, they're all like building campfires, making s'mores, and like it's just completely fine. I
did like one thing. I did like when Max woke up. Finally, that was a great moment between her and Lucas. Because like Lucas was there. Like, they did a good job of showing Lucas was there, and he was playing that song for 2 years, just like sitting by her side. And it was a good moment where he said, "Are you sick of it yet?" And she said, "No." She says, "Are you?" And he goes, he's sick of the song because he's just been playing it for 2 years, But Sadie Sink did a great job acting in that moment. I was like, emotional during that moment too of her coming back. So that was a good beat.
Yeah, and I do wonder about, like, this is the other thing with the show ending. A few things. One, the future of some of these actors. Like, I think what's funny is Sadie Sink did a great job these last 2 seasons, for sure. But overall, I would say she isn't the strongest actor of this group. Not that she isn't a strong actor. She obviously is. But I would put Millie and Finn, as far as pure talent of the kids, over her. But it's so hard being the face of a franchise that I imagine that they will have to do something dramatic to break free of that. Because ask Mark Hamill, right? Like, it was really hard for him to get taken seriously outside of Star Wars. And he made that transition into voice work, and he's incredible. Like, he is a great actor, and it just didn't matter. So he got to flex that in voice acting. And so I don't know I think Finn puts on like 25 pounds of muscle and has a complete character shift in order to find his next gear. And I don't know what Millie needs to do. She's so talented. And we can see like Sadie and Millie like finding other roles. Like, we've seen her, Millie Bobby Brown and Enola Holmes and probably some other stuff. That's the only thing I think I've seen her in. Whereas Sadie, has done a great job. I grew up in the town next to Sadie Sink's. Like, I grew up going to Brenham. And so like, I'm rooting hardcore for Sadie Sink to crush it. And I think she will, because she's not the face of this franchise. And so we've already seen her in The Whale and probably some other stuff. And so I think, and she has such a strong look, which is half the battle as an actor, is finding a strong look. So I imagine she's going to be okay. And she's going to have a really terrific career because she's got a great look. She's super talented. And she's got some cachet, but not trapped by Stranger Things. That's like the perfect storm Whereas I think some of these other actors are going to have a harder time and have to figure out how to break free. Like Natalia Dyer is probably going to have a hard time. Charlie Heaton's probably going to have a tough time. Even Joe Keery, though he's got a good look, I think he might have to do some radical stuff. Maya Hawke, I think, is probably going to have an easier time. She's crazy talented, but also, seems like she has just other avenues. I think she directs, and so I can imagine her going on to create some badass work. I don't know where everyone turns from here. I'm hoping we don't have any more Stranger Things. I would bet my money that we do, because
we do.
Netflix be that way sometimes. Do we? Is that already secured?
I saw a picture of the Duffer Brothers standing on a stage with like 7 or 5 different titles behind them.
God.
Of looking the same but like different titles. I think it's only the start.
My God. There's a lot of them.
There's so many. Vecna's coming back a lot. Hopefully they have nothing to do with each other, and they're not like. Look, I'm an '80s fan, and I love the music in this show. I think it's like so great. It's so strong, but like they better do something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can't do this again. Like do something else, please.
Let other people get in. And to go back, like Caleb McLaughlin, I don't know how good or not good he is as an actor, because he didn't have that much to do, which goes back to the point of having too many characters. Like at the end of the day, you stripped the runtime from Lucas by virtue of we're just crowded here. Everyone needs to have something to do. And they tried to like group people up so that it felt like, okay, instead of like 12, 15 characters, we really only have like 5 characters because they're all working in batches. But it didn't really.
It's so many batches.
So
many batches. And if you look at this list of the names that I read at the beginning
it's not even everyone.
It's not everyone. It's probably maybe like 2/3.
Yeah.
And only 2 of the people freaking die. 11 and Henry. That's it. And 11 might not even have died. So really, it's only Henry. So, I mean, how many did I read? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15 people that I read. And that's maybe 2/3. That is that is a mess. That is a mess. You could have killed 4 or 5 of these people and the show would have been brutally awesome. You know what I mean? I love your point at the beginning of like, yeah, kill Joyce. Yeah, kill Jonathan. And now Will is stronger than ever. You know what I mean? When he finds out he can tap into the hive mind. Yeah, okay, great. But then in the end, it's just like this. Yeah.
Yep. It's frustrating. I don't know. I think they're going to have a hard time pulling me back into this universe. Like, I'll probably watch the first episode of whatever it is and then not watch anymore. I've gotten really good at abandoning shows. I used to never abandon a show. I'd be like, I started it, I'm finishing it. Now I'm like, nah, you need to earn every single episode with me. There's too many other things.
Well, because it feels like you're wasting your time. Honestly, like I want to watch a show and feel like I have to watch the next 2 minutes or else I'm going to miss something super important. Even HBO shows nowadays, I'm just like, God, what the hell are you going to do next? Like, come on. Like, if we're buying into this, which I'm really glad you brought this up because I didn't even know what that was, the plot armor. If we're buying into plot armor, right, then we're buying into the fact that it's a show. So don't waste my time, right? Don't make me wish I was watching a movie instead, where like a good movie means I can't look away for 30 seconds or I miss something important. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's a good movie. And you watch something that's 90 minutes long and you feel like it needed to be 90 minutes long and every moment was important. This, I could have skipped 4 episodes entirely and still been fine. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. It sucks because I was really excited at the beginning of this whole thing, right? Season 1, I had a lot of faith and trust in this creative team because of how strong that was, and how they said that they had like 30 or 40 pages of the Upside Down alone. And I was like, whoa, they've got so much to work with, only to find out that they really didn't have anything to work with. Like, I don't know that we learned that much more about the Upside Down after the first season. And whatever those 30 or 40 pages were doesn't seem to have made any difference. At the end of the day, it was just a bit of a time sink. I'm glad I got to spend more time with some of these characters. It's just a bit of a shame that it wasn't more meaningful and carry more weight. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. That's where I'll stop for here. What final thoughts?
I think you said it all. I think it was a good send off when it comes to like the last 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes. But the other thing is I was watching it with my son who was like really excited, so I can't crap on something that he's excited about, and nor will I ever. I'll say that was the greatest thing ever made if that's exciting to him. So, there were a few things that I was just like, oh, that was not good. And I'd say it out loud and he would agree, so I don't want to take anything from him, but anyway, they could have done something else entirely for the last entire season. So
you're a good man, Charlie Brown. What are you going to recommend this week?
Okay. I watched this movie yesterday. So my wife and I have been on this tear of watching end of the world movies, which are our favorite. Just love end of the world movies. And she watched this movie a couple weeks ago or a week and a half ago. And I was in here either working on some piece of music or I was maybe recording this podcast while they were watching. And then she said on my birthday, she was like, hey, which was yesterday, she said, do you want to watch this movie? And I was like, oh, you've already watched it. She's like, yeah, I know, but it was like trippy and I want to watch it again. That never happened. So I watched it and it's fantastic. It's on Netflix called The Great Flood. If you haven't seen it, which I kind of like avoided it. I don't know. I didn't know what it was, and it was subtitled, and I wasn't like in the mood for that because I kind of have to be in the mood for that. It's so trippy and beautifully executed. It's just really, really lovely. Especially if you come at it from the perspective of a mom or something like that. It's just, you don't expect a lot of things. And then there's a lot of things that you see and you're like, okay, I know what that is. But then they do a couple of twists on it. And so I would highly recommend it. And it's streaming on Netflix, so easy to watch. So The Great Flood.
Nice. I'll be queuing that up. I've not watched it. Cool. I'm going to recommend a book. It's called Nuclear War, A Scenario by Annie Jacobsen. For many reasons. One, it's a really good book. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's her taking all this research about how nuclear armaments work in the world and painting a picture of nuclear apocalypse. This is what Catherine Bigelow based A House of Dynamite on. Like, that she worked from this book, except the book is incredibly different. It takes a couple of liberties for sure, but it's starting almost second by second. What happens when someone fires a nuclear weapon and how long it takes, like 1.5 seconds or something like that, for a satellite to pick up the heat signature. And so from that moment, all kinds of things begin to take place, like all these built-in mechanisms of verification and warning, like who's in charge of this part, when does the president find out. And so it's a really terrifying look at what effectively is how we go from 0 to 60 minutes and the entire world is destroyed. In 60 minutes. We are 60 minutes from complete annihilation. And it's brutal and it's informative and it's really important. And I couldn't help but get to the end of this book and feel like this is why I think people need to be reading more. It goes back to this conversation, everyone is having, I think, about our attention spans and short form content and social media. And why I think it's really important that we all remember how to do things for extended amounts of time, like the ability to sit and watch a movie without your phone for an hour and a half, right? Like just to be able to put everything away and focus on one thing. This is a skill. It's a mental exercise, and the ability to focus and collect thoughts and give something your attention. And books are a great way to do that, where you'll do that. Like you'll spend 45 minutes, an hour of reading, and then come back to it the next day. And it takes days, weeks, sometimes longer to be able to finish one book, which is the ability to hold one thought in your head for weeks at a time or days at a time. Like, because when you come back tomorrow, you have to remember, where was I, right? And so that's one reason I think to read a book. But also I think on average, authors are teaching us how to think from other people's perspectives. And that is just this ability to have empathy and also to be able to read into BS and lies and to be able to pick up on subtext and nuance and to put it together for yourself. This is something an audiobook I don't think can give you. This is something you have to do for yourself on the page and to be able to process and think for yourself. And it's introduced by authors who I think inherently have to find ways of thinking from other perspectives. That's the whole point of storytelling. So even if you want to read something like a Stephanie Meyer book, right, Twilight, it's still going to have this effect of the ability to think from other perspectives and to teach yourself how to do that. And so when I'm reading Nuclear War scenario, I'm like, it's painting a good picture of why we need to be electing people that we trust and that we understand what their motives are, and if they're respecting us as an audience. Unlike some storytellers, like, we need to feel that we understand who we're voting for and be able to sift through the tea leaves of predicting if they're going to be good at their job or not. And I think reading is one step of that. There's a lot of other steps for sure. The ability to have constructive debate, the ability to think, how is this person feeling when I say these words? All those things are all part of being a good, well-rounded person. But I think books, and I think if you set your goal for like, I'm going to read 10 books this year, one book a month isn't actually crazy. And I think it'll give you a muscle, even if it's just pure joy reads, right? The ability to sit and commit to long-form thinking, I think, is one piece of the puzzle that our country is missing right now. And maybe the world at large, I don't know. But certainly within our little tiny American universe, would probably pay good dividends. Just that skill set of like, I'm going to read things. And then maybe of those 5 or 10 books, 1, 2, or 3 books are challenging reads, whatever that means to you. And so maybe don't start with Nuclear War, but maybe put it in your list of like, I'll get to that. I'm going to get into a rhythm of reading again, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be Harry Potter. It's going to be, and if you've already read Harry Potter, don't reread it. Pick something else, unfamiliar. Get used to reading unfamiliar things, not just comfort reads. Read something unfamiliar and challenge yourself, and get used to challenging yourself. I don't know. That's my recommendation. It's Nuclear War, but really it's books. Anyway, stay tuned.
How about not Nuclear War? Yeah. let's recommend books.
Speaking of world-ending things, that stay tuned for next week. We're going to take a look at The Purge and what happens if you don't read books.
There you go.
It's Ethan Hawke and one of the early successes of Blumhouse. And yeah, so watch that and stay tuned for our discussion. And if you're enjoying the show, don't forget, subscribe, review, leave us a note. If you want to comment on this episode, tell us what you liked and loved and things that we're not appreciating about the finale, you can comment at thepestlepodcast.com/Stranger Things finale.
And today's quote of the day is from Stanley Kubrick. Anyone who has ever been privileged to direct a film also knows that although it can be like trying to write War and Peace in a bumper car in an amusement park, when you finally get it right, there are not many joys in life that can equal the feeling. Do you subscribe to that as a director?
Man, I do. That feeling when the sequence cut together exactly the way you hoped, or built to a moment that you hope. Like, man, when we made Threads, and that reaction from the audience, or watching it with the audience, and know, man, we hit the notes that I wanted to hit. That's so cool. And so even though, I just had a million things to, criticize about Stranger Things and the finale, I bet the Duffers had some really gratifying moments when they were like, yeah, this is maybe overwrought, but that all these little flashbacks, I think, is going to give chills to the audience whenever we're chopping off Vecna's head and having this sense of finality. I bet that was really gratifying to see it come together in the edit. And that same thing with Mike telling these stories, and we're having these cutaways. I bet that was really satisfying. So yeah, it does feel a little absurd, in isolation when you're collecting these shots, because that's so funny. You're trying to write War and Peace in a bumper car in an amusement park. Yeah, but man, when it hits, it's pretty fun. I imagine that's how a rock star feels, finishing an album, taking it on stage, and then watching an audience sing your words back to you. Yeah?
Who would know? That's amazing. That's amazing. Great quote. Well, this is fun, man. This is fun. I think I learned a lot. I mean, specifically, love your note about plot armor. I think I've always felt that, but never really knew what that was. So thanks for clarifying that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it too. Make sure to subscribe, review us wherever you get your podcasts, and share us with your friend. And if there's a film that you'd like to see us talk about or pick apart, or show or something like that, recommend it. Who knows? Maybe one day we will cover it. Until next time, I'm Todd.
I'm Wes.
Go watch some movies or some finales of TV shows.